Right, testing. Let's see. Hello. Yeah, okay. Things seem to be working. And yeah, hey everybody. Welcome to this surprise Saturday stream. How is everybody? I was not actually expecting to stream today. I mean, I've stopped with the weekly Saturday streams, but I wanted to work with grass and I did some cool things with grass and I was like, I'd like to show that on stream, but I couldn't wait until Tuesday, so here we are. Yeah, well, thanks so much for showing up. Yeah, in the meantime, it's still hot as crap here. It's been like 40 degrees almost all week long, and it's gonna be bad like that until Friday, I think. Oh, thanks for the follow, Allo name. So yeah, still hot. So again, I will be opening and closing the AC all day. That's the plan. So, for today, by the way, I don't know if anybody was here on the previous stream, but what I started working on was like some slash attacks, and I did also some minor changes in that code so that I can like swap directions for the second slash, so I can go like this or like this, which is cool. And yeah, I'm not sure if I will do anything about the slash today, because the plan was to continue working on this on the regular schedule, so like Tuesday. But you know, depending on how much time I have left after the grass stuff, then maybe I can take a look. Oh, glad to hear you come from Twitter, yeah. I'm glad you could catch the stream as well. Yeah, in general, I just stream weekly, just on Tuesdays. It used to be Saturdays as well, but yeah, most of the Saturdays I ended up being busy. But today I had time and I had pent-up creativity and I wanted to work with grass. So yeah. Yeah, so about the grass, I have it linked here and I'll probably be sharing it again here and there, and I'll have it open just for reference. But the thing is, it's I have already I have brought all the scripts and shaders as is, and we're actually gonna make them work together, or I mean, I'm gonna do it and you're probably just gonna watch, but I'm gonna do it here. I did a dry run this morning just to see everything working, which is good, but I wanted to also show you the process, you know, but I thought that would be fun and interesting, I guess. It could be to me, I don't know, I don't have fun with most stuff people have fun with, so yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Beto GFX. Yeah, it's my pleasure, honestly, to just share stuff and, you know, lift as I climb, technically. So yeah, thanks. And thank you for joining the stream as well. Alright, so yeah, this specific grass setup. Oh, yeah, I'm glad Allo name. Yeah, this would probably help a lot because Joyce's code is already awesome and it's working right out of the box in most cases. It won't work in my case, but there's a very specific reason for that. So yeah, hopefully this will give you a good idea. So this is, let me show it to you. I don't have anything weird open. Yeah, okay. So this is the blog post, the tutorial that Joyce has shared. So it's basically one more iteration on the stuff she has already shared. And this one is pretty cool because it uses compute shaders and draw procedural indirect. So that means that the mesh that's being drawn for the grass is actually, well, procedural, and it's being drawn using words. Yeah, it's being drawn using compute shader. That was inspired by, I think, yeah, it was tweaked based on Ned makes games version. You can see there are references on the bottom. If you don't know, by the way, let me share that link as well. Ned Makes Games is an awesome channel, and yeah, Ned has some amazing tutorials in general, and they're also doing most of the stuff in Europe, which is even more impressive. Also, just okay. So I did some changes, Streamlabs, hoping that I would get 1080p streaming, but I did not. But at least I think it's gotten better in terms of frame rate, because some other times I dropped frames when I was moving like that. I don't know, it's weird, and I still haven't found how to stream in 1080p, so there's that. Anyway, so alright, I wanna go through what this whole grass system does, just so we get a better idea as to how it works, right? So there is the grass pane there. Basically, this is a little tool because it also gives you like an interface in editor to, well, place your grass wherever you want. But essentially what it's doing is that it creates a mesh, a procedurally generated mesh, and basically when you're painting, you're just scattering vertices but without actually creating edges or triangles. You just scattering vertices all over the place. That's the main thing. And then comes the grass compute script, which technically takes this mesh that you have created with all the different vertices, and with each vertex having some data, as vertices usually do. So, you know, they have their position, normals, maybe some UVs, I don't know. But yeah, they have some info like that. And they take each vertex and they generate a grass blade, or like a I don't know, like a sum of grass blades based on the data from each vertex. And I have everything open here. So yeah, if you watch Ned's videos, because I think that's where most of the code, when not the code per se, but like the approach at least, it's also shown there. Oh, thanks for the follow. Yeah, you can see exactly what's going on, but the whole, I probably cannot make this from scratch myself, but you know, I can a bit dissect it and maybe understand what goes where. So this is basically the main body of the compute shader that creates the grass blades, which essentially adds the generated triangles over to a compute buffer to which we can append stuff. That's the gist of it. Okay. I'm gonna start with just, you know, I have brought everything in right as is from Joyce's post. So I'm gonna start making things. So the setup is that you make an object, whatever, and you drop the grass painter, and you also drop the grass compute script. I have already made a material that uses the grass shader for compute. All those are included in Joyce's post. So I can drag this here, I can drag the compute shader in here, and that should be it. So I can start painting. So technically, oh, hold up. Okay. Yeah, I haven't painted anything because I haven't changed the layers. So my terrain is actually on the static collider layer. So I want that to be on the heat and painting mask. And now I am painting. I can increase the brush size and you can see I am painting, but you cannot see anything. If I go to the mess, the mess that's being generated from the grass painter, you can see that we actually have stuff. Like these are actually the points that I have scattered around. You can see also that, you know, there are no triangles, they're just points. Like you can see that there's 300 of them actually. But we can't see anything. Why is that? I won't quiz you on this because that's something that took a while for me to figure out. But the thing is, there is this LOD min and max fade distance right here. You can't see it because my face is covering it. But there's these properties here basically for, well, LOD essentially. And the thing is that because my camera is not orthographic, but instead it's just very far away and has a very narrow field of view, essentially the grass is getting culled. So if I increase this to be like 100 to 200, then we get grass. Yay! My grass is black. We'll get to that in a bit, but first, something I want to change. No, it doesn't work only on terrain. Like if this, for example, is on the static collider layer, now I can take the grass painter and just paint grass on that here. So yeah. There are a few things that I want to change, especially UX wise, and it's not that I want to step on Joyce's tool or anything like that. I have made tools like that in the past, and I've grown used to them working in a specific way. Because this tool, for example, uses the right click to paint, and you have to change the mode from here. And that's not very convenient for me because I am dumb and I usually forget that I have stuff selected like this. So it wouldn't be unusual for me, you know, to have this selected without, and I would try to right click just to change the camera view, and I just paint by mistake. And also one thing that I would want to do in that case would be hit undo, but undo doesn't work here, but it's okay. I'm going to add it real quick. It should be easy. I haven't tried it in my dry run, so I might be mistaken, but I want to add some undo. But before that, even before that, so here's the thing. Because I want to do some camera relative stuff with this grass, I don't want the LOD and stuff like that to depend on the main camera, because that way I won't be able to properly see how the grass looks in the scene view. So that's one thing I want to change. And I'm going to change this in the grass compute script, because this is where the LOD stuff are stored. And it's also gonna come in handy in a little bit, and you see why. So first up, there's this property which isn't being used anywhere, so let me just git it real quick. Or you know what, I won't git it, I'll just call this current camera. I'm going to git this so that I can also see the errors. So you can see where this is just being assigned here, and it's being used here. It takes the camera world space position so that it can, in the compute shader, it can do all the LOD stuff. So instead I'm gonna make a little function right about here. I'm gonna call it get camera. Wait. Okay. Let me cheat a little bit. I mean, it's not complicated code, it's just late for me to think. Holiday. Okay. Alright, so we want some ifs. Is the grass always the same shape in this? Yeah, that's one thing. Because it's being procedurally created, it's just gonna make grass blades. You're gonna adjust a bunch of properties, and we'll see that in a bit. Like width, radius, how bent they are, how many segments, all that stuff. You can adjust those stuff, but it's just gonna be grass blades. However, you could, for example, potentially, and I mean, I haven't tried it, it is something that I would like to try at some point, but no, you could not load the model with this approach because it's using draw mesh procedural, draw procedural indirect. So the mesh that's being drawn is procedural. It doesn't take a mesh. If this was using draw instanced indirect instead, then you could use a mesh, but it would require a different setup. And maybe that could be a fun thing for later, but for now I'm personally happy with the blades. In your universe, you don't need to cast camera.main. Yeah, that is true, but it's worth mentioning. Camera.main used to do find object with tag, find game object with tag, which was pretty expensive because it was linearly looking for every object in the scene, and it's not doing that anymore, but it's still doing a get component. So it's still a tiny bit of a good idea to cache it, but either way, I'm gonna use this function because I'll also wanna potentially get the camera in the scene view. No plant generating program that had set meshes for leaves. Yeah, well, I mean, if it's just like for a plant, because I'm not sure what you're talking about, Rolik, but if it's just for a plant, maybe, it's not worth doing it, with the instance and compute shaders and all that. But if you want a lot of them in a scene, then, and you want to use custom meshes, then yeah, draw mesh instance indirect is the answer for that. Alright, so I wanna know that if I'm in Unity Editor, if the application is not playing, I actually want to get the scene camera. So if I have an open scene window, which it's a fair assumption that I will always have an open scene window, but you know, in one case that I might not have it, I would get a bunch of errors. So to avoid that, just a quick check, and I can get Unity Editor scene view, get all scene cameras, and just take the first one. That by the way would only make it work just for the first scene view window, and okay, it's an even more fair assumption that I won't have more than one scene windows open. But even if I do, it's not like I'm gonna get an error, but you know, the code will just consider the first one instead. So if I don't have a scene view open, return camera.main. If the application is running, return camera.main. Main. And if we are on a build and not in editor, in Unity Editor, return. Whoa, give me 1 second, be right back. And I'm back. As I was saying, if we're not in Unity Editor, which means that we're on a build, return camera.main. I have to make this check, by the way, because I'm using a Unity Editor stuff, and that stuff, you know, I don't want them to be included in a build. Well, I mean, even if I wanted, the build would just fail because Unity Editor just disappears when you're building. So yeah. Camera.main. Okay, so yeah, here it is. So instead, I want current camera to be get camera, and same goes here. And instead of using the main camera here, I want the current camera. There we go. Oh, and same goes here. It's most likely never gonna be null, but whatever. Alright. So that means that even if I reduce the LOD to whatever it was before, so 4060, you can still see the grass, because now it's actually relevant to the scene camera. So you can see that it's being, the LOD stuff is being applied based on that. But if I hit play, the grass will probably disappear because my camera is far away. Give it a sec. No? This one? I mean... hold on. Hey Dane. Oh crap! I did. That's what I can't handle with that. Camera near far lane. I think I haven't changed it. Actually, it should be. Oh, it's 0.1 and 5,000. So yeah. But it should disappear when I hit play. Anyway, I mean, I don't mind. No, Dane, that's all from... Let me share it again. This is all from Joyce's grass. But I will actually use some of the Nilocat stuff for the per instance culling, but you know, don't get ahead. I'm first dealing with some usability stuff, and you know, we'll also have to make it work, because right now it's black, and you know, it's not really supposed to be black. So that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, one more thing that I want to add, because it's a bit not great for my taste, is some undoing. Let me also... Okay. Alright. Yeah, yeah, some undoing, because right now there's no undo support. So when I draw by mistake, I have to remove, and you know, I won't always catch everything. That's a fair assumption there, Aloname. Let's see. Yes, that is true, but it's not 100%. I mean, yeah, it's true. I mean, that's why it was black, and I actually didn't know that, so thanks for pointing it out, but there's some issues with it still, so I'll get to that, but thanks for that, actually. That was a neat thing to notice. Well, you technically can if you go to the edit mode of this. So if I go now and go to red, I can essentially update the colors. But the thing is that I can keep it white. I mean, that's well, maybe not redundant, but it is a bit redundant for me, maybe, but you can't see it here. There are color options in the compute script shader as well, so I can change stuff from there too. So yeah. But that those colors affect like all instances, while you know, changing the color from the grass painter, it can affect only a certain number of instances, because the color data are being written onto the vertices that are being saved onto the source mesh. So this here. Whenever grass is lit on fire, it never disappears. Its color just changes. Huh. I haven't noticed that. But does it stay like that forever? Or does it fade back? Eventually fades back. It's interesting actually, because one thing that actually made that was really impressive to me was how much grass they render in Genshin Impact, which only makes sense if it's instanced in a similar way like this, which leads me to wonder as to how they change like the color of specific grass blades and fade it out. I would assume that maybe they... You know what, next time you play, try scorching as many different areas as you can and see what happens. My assumption would be that they are using some sort of wall space masks and they do like the color changing in the shader. But if that's the case, they should probably have like a certain number of these masks, because they would have to, you know, be looping through them if they're using like masks in that essence, in that sense, because they could have those data in 3D texture or something, or a normal texture. I don't know. That's a texture actually makes more sense. Maybe they're just painting a texture. I don't know. That's a good thing to keep in mind. Anyway, undo. Yeah, I wanna add undoing. So the grass painting, actually most of it happens in the grass painter and not in, well, I mean that makes sense, but not on the editor script is what I'm trying to say. So here is where the painting happens essentially. So this is when you're adding I wonder, could this work? Are those positions? Oh, they're here. Okay, so that's good. The grass painter also holds lists of the data before assigning them to the mesh, which is good, because that means that I can go here for example, and this is where like all the new information is being added. So just adding the position, the index number, the information about the width and the length of the mesh, the color and the normals. We'll get back to the normals in a bit. So that means that I can do something like undo, register complete object undo, and I can say just this. and add grass, I guess. Will this work? Wait, I'm on edit. It will not work. Okay, undo. Record object. I mean, if it works, but you know, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time with this because there's more interesting stuff. Hey, death on time. So it's not registering the undo. Okay, I'm gonna have to sit a little bit more, so give me a second. Alright, this is a lot of code. Give me a second, still looking. Yeah. All right. Okay, found what I wanted, but it seems to be doing close to what I'm doing. So there's that. Not sure why the undoing is not registering. That's annoying. Register complete object undo. Can I say just this? No, I cannot. Yeah. I'm gonna add a lot of grass. Okay, undoing is not working, so I'm just gonna ignore that for now. And instead I'm gonna change the controls a bit because I'm used to other controls. That's it pretty much. So instead I want to use the left click. Will this work or will it actually change my selection? Yeah. Okay, so, but at least I can do this. it's okay, I can still control using this little piece of code. So now, hey Sammy, as long as I have this object selected, even when I left click, I cannot words. Yeah, I cannot lose my selection. Oh, sounds good, Sammy. What good are you eating? Yeah, skip to play. Obviously, I mean, there's bloom on my code. Alright, so I'm gonna change this here and here. And the toolbar thing is good, but I also want, I mean, I don't. Yeah, I want to draw regardless of that. And instead of this, I want to say if control, and here e.shift, I think. Wait, can you actually use shaders on Visual Studio, or are you talking about what I have here? Because that's like just a CSS thing. Well, can you imagine RTX in VS Code? Like what would that even do? Like have reflections of your code, of the letters, like underneath? That would be sick and very distracting. Oh yeah, no, that not quite shaders, but yeah. Okay, so now I can paint like this. I can, no, oh, wait, I know. And not control and not shift. So this should be and control and no shift, and that should be not control but control. I'm going control wire, control shift Z for redo. Well, in general, I would go with Control Shift Z, but that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just changing the way to paint and to erase. So now I don't have to actually change this here, which is cool. And I still have my right click, so yeah, undoing would be cool though. I don't think so, because well, Macs also have a control button, but there is hold it. Yeah, there is explicitly like the command key. But I mean, I haven't tried it, so you know, I might be wrong. Okay, so UI is a bit improved again for me. I'm not just overriding Joyce's work here, but there is an issue. Which will be visible when I actually add the light. Well, the issue is actually worse than I imagined, but here it is. Lighting is all over the place. And there are reasons for that. That don't have to do with the actual code of the grass. So let's go over to the deferred debugging stuff. Dane, hold your horses, we're gonna have point lights as well. Hold your horses. Okay, Sammy. I'll be waiting for you. I'll just sit silently here and just wait for Sammy. Yeah, it was too long. Okay. Yeah, it was a point light, but it's not interacting properly. I mean, you can see that it's doing this annoying screen space attenuation cutoff thing here. And again, we're gonna fix that. But one of the reasons that looks bad, and also that the grass in general that doesn't quite agree with the aesthetic yet, is because if we actually go to see how it looks on the deferred. Oh no! Oh, thanks for the follow, Polymars. Yeah, but oh no! What's wrong here? What seems to be the problem? So, obviously the answer for this is on the actual shader that is being used to render the grass. And if I open this up, you will see it has a bunch of cool things here and there. It has the common vertex function that reads through the triangle buffer and gets the vertices and all that info, and that's really cool. And if we go over to the passes, to the fragment shader passes, essentially, we have the forward base and the forward add, and we have some shadow casting because we can have them cast shadows. And I think I can actually see that if I turn on shadow casting. Yeah, here are the shadows. But as you can see, we have no deferred pass, and my project is in deferred because that way I can use my full screen custom deferred cell shading shenanigans to get the lighting I want. And also making it in deferred is just gonna make it work with lights right out of the box. As many lights as you want. And especially if they're non-shadow casting, they're free lights as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so first off, I mean, I don't really care about those passes because since it's gonna find the deferred pass, I'm pretty confident that it's gonna ignore those passes. Yeah, essentially shaders, when they cannot be rendered in deferred, if your project is in like a deferred mode, if the shader cannot be rendered in deferred, it falls back to a forward shader. So if we add a deferred pass, then everything is gonna be good. I want to remove this, however, because that's like for the transparency, because it has some stuff to fade near the bottom so that it blends better. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that because again, I'm in deferred. I cannot do transparency. So that also means that I don't really care about that stuff here. I'm not removing them completely just in case, but you know. So all I need is just make another pass, and I'll just grab this pass right here, just copy this, paste this. Okay, so instead of this, let me bring my cheat sheet again. Okay. Yeah, so light mode is just gonna be deferred. I mean, I think it's implied, but I wanna be explicit that this is gonna be opaque. But this looks good, and in case you've missed that also, vertex fragment shaders for the deferred pipeline have a specific setup which is a bit different from the forward vertex fragment shaders. So they don't actually return a color, they write straight to the G buffers. So this is gonna be void, and instead of the classic SV target we have here, we have a bunch more targets here. Specifically, we have the G buffer 0 as the target 0, and you guessed it, we have G buffer 1 as the target 1. We have this, wait, no, see, yeah, we have 2 and emission, so that's gonna be 2. And that's gonna be 3, but that's not out G buffer 3, that's actually out emission. Alright. So here's the cool thing about this. Do you see all that stuff, like the ambient sky color and like the light color and shadows and yeah, whatever to get like the received shadows, all that stuff? We don't care about any of that. So yeah, no, screw that. And you know what? While you're at it, screw all that. Because again, this is like to add the light and multiply with shadow and with ambient color. Apply fog, we don't get that fog in deferred, so I don't care. This is the fade thing for the fading at the end with the transparency. We're in deferred, I don't want transparency. So all of these can just go to hell. And instead, I can make a Unity standard data. This word looks weird. Anyway, I can make an object of this struct essentially, and I can apply the diffuse color to be, well, the base color RGB. It's a float 3. Yeah, sounds good. Occlusion 0, I don't care about that. Specular color, let it, you know what, actually that's a good point. Let me see what the specular color should be. Ignore what's happening here. Specular, it's black. I want it to blend with the terrain as well as possible, so I'm gonna give it a black specular color, so 0. Smoothness it's not gonna be a smooth grass like glossy and all that. So 0. Normal, wall space normal. Well, this is interesting. So I just want, well, the wall space normal, which is here. It gets calculated on in the vertex shader, and it gets passed over to the V2F, so I have access to that. And we will get back to the normals in a bit. But right now I have my wall space normals, so I'm just gonna grab those. Defining zero values as 0. Yeah, just out of habit. I used to, yeah, I think I got that obsession with adding the point 0 after writing GLSL, which in GLSL you can't just write this, like, no, it has to be a point. It's gotta be a float, everything. So I think that's where I got it. And yeah, in most cases, like, I wouldn't even do that. I don't know, it's more like an obsession thing. Yeah, GLSL, just if you're not assigning explicitly to an integer, yeah, no, everything needs to have a decimal. So alright, we have all our data here, so I can use the Unity standard data to gbuffer. Obviously I don't remember this by heart, I see it in another window. So gbuffer 0 out gbuffer 1 out gbuffer 2. I think that should be it, yeah. And I also should add things on the emission. So out emission is gonna be the base color multiplied by shade SH9, which is a bit of a weird looking function. And 1. So let's see what we have now. Oh, unexpected token. Yeah, okay. Let's start with this. Unity standard data to gbuffer. Did I write something wrong? Oh yeah, this is not a capital B, I guess. And there we go. So now if I actually go to the deferred debug views, I can see my albedo, specular being black, smoothness being black, and I can see the normals. Do you like those normals? Do they look regular to you? Personally, I don't, and that's a personal preference. So nothing to do with the grass package. I wish there were some thumbnails included with every lighting function in documentation. What sort of lighting functions though? Like what, the Lambert stuff, or what do you mean? Anyway, going back to our normals. So as you know, I like to do something very specific with my normals when it comes to grass. So again, because I want the grass to blend in with the terrain as much as possible, because I have this impressionistic, yeah, exactly, our name. I have this impressionistic way of making grass in general, which is, you know, not being able to see its freaking grass blade individually, and that's also why it won't have shadows. But I want them to be visible only when you have like shadows falling on them or when they're intersecting with the objects, so stuff like that. And the way to do this is, well, to check what sort of normals these get. So let's go over to the grass placer, the grass painter, I'm sorry. So when this tool adds grass blades, when it adds vertices to the mesh that's being used to generate the grass blades, where is it? Here. It adds a bunch of info to separate buffers and also to the mesh. And if you see here, normals add terrain hit dot normal. That's good actually. We do want the normal of the surface that the painter hit, because that way you can get the normal pointing upwards, and you know, you get the normal of the terrain, and then you can use that to blend. Yeah, exactly. It makes the grass much nicer, because it, not always, but otherwise it can create noise, it can create some visual noise to see all the different grass blades individually like that. And you can also get some nice consistent simmering effects if you want it to be more glassy. So if you have like a hilltop, for example, you know, you can get the gloss, the specularity consistent with the terrain, and that usually looks good. So yeah. Alright, so the grass painter gives us the correct normal, or at least the normal we want. Here it is again, yeah. Oh wait, hold up. I did the undo here, but not on the second block, and maybe that's where that was happening. So let's try this again. Yay! We have undo! Yay! That's awesome! I do love me some good undoing. Yeah, okay, I'm happy. I can do the same thing now for the removing actually, so... Then there's so much stuff that's faster than the shader graphs undo, but yeah, I don't want to go there. So this is removing. Undo, remove, undo, there we go. That's cool. I would assume that it's probably Do we have music? Okay, yeah. I could assume it's probably something to do with Unity's implementation of undo. Because if, you know, custom packages need their own undo stack, they would need to implement their own undo stack. So, you know, if you're using the undo API that Unity gives you, then I guess you have a shared undo stack. So I don't think there's much you can do about that unless you actually, you know, implement your own stack. Wait, what do you mean? What's wrong with Blender's undo? I've never had issues with Blender's undo. Okay, we're kinda cooking now. Yeah, so I was gonna fix the normals. So I'm going to the grass compute. Those in the wall. Every end. Oh yeah. Yeah, see, that's the problem. I don't use big models or scenes. If I were a proper 3D artist, then maybe I would have an issue with that. Alright, so where is the normal? This is the normal, face normal. So the way the normal is being generated is by getting the cross product of the perpendicular angle, which is just forward, makes sense, with the object space normal that we get from the terrain. It's a bit weird now that I think about it, because I mean, I will change it either way, but I'm curious. So the position hold that. Wait, I have a bad feeling. So what would happen if I rotate this like 4 degrees and try to paint? Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So anybody, can anybody tell me what's going wrong here? I will show you the code, the kind of problematic code. Yeah, so I'm painting here, all good. I will move the grass painter a bit, like this. And if I paint here, all good. But if I rotate the grass painter a bit and I paint here, the grass appears in the wrong place. What's wrong? Exactly. The position array is being added as is to the vertex position of the mesh. But the thing is, that the vertex position of the mesh and pretty much everything, well, I mean everything you care about, so normals and vertices, are in object space, not in world space. And the position being added here is in world space, it's a grass position. Now there is an attempt at a compensation, which is this one right here. Grass position, so you know where we actually hit, we subtract the position of the actual grass painter object, so it's at least the position is kinda in object space. There is a better way to do that, and instead of this I can just go ahead and say transform transform point. No, that's from local space to world space. I want the other way around. So inverse transform point, grass position. So that's gonna go into wait, that's got a lot of parentheses. Doesn't need so much. Same here. All right. Painting here, all good. Let's move this a little bit. Painting here, all good. Let's rotate now. Painting here, all good. And also same goes if I actually scale the thing. Okay, like everything goes away, but I can still like paint stuff. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I can clear the mess, yeah. One thing to keep in mind, space transform here per function. I would assume it does. Which ones are you talking about? Are you talking about like the math library or something else? Space transform helper functions. Because I mean, I did one of that, like the inverse transform point, if that's what you're saying. It's interesting though that the vertices are in object space in relation to the grass painter. Unit. I mean, I think. Wait, are those like shader functions or like C# functions? Thanks for the follow, Julie Strater. Anyway, I won't bother thinking about that anymore. Anyway, back to the normals again. I haven't fixed the normals thing. So as I was saying, I was right here. So pipeline, so I think SRP. Oh, those are HLSL stuff. Yeah, no, I think the yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think yeah, those are SRP. They could be really handy to have elsewhere too, though I think the Unity Matrix M and IM and all that stuff, I don't think those are inbuilt in. I think those are SRP stuff. Actually, skip to play, that's exactly the one I'm using. Gonna link it again. That's exactly the one I'm using. I'm just tweaking it to my liking, basically. So, yeah. I'm not using any scriptable render pipeline out of name. I'm just in built-in. That's one Dane was talking about, the burp, the built-in render pipeline. Anyway, going back to the freaking normals, yeah, it's like super simple. I don't care about getting the cross product. I just want this, essentially. I just want the object. This is not the object space, really. I'll have to think about it. But anyway, yeah, so this face normal gets added to the triangle as well. So I can just go ahead in this shader here. And yeah, Dane, no, it's not just your assumption. I can sign on that. If it's like a personal project of mine, it's not gonna be SRP or anything else. Just built in. So, okay, I have to... let me think about that. So, the normal I end up appending is wall space. Thanks for the follow, Vinny Keller. It's wall space though, right? Because it's a terrain hit normal. So that would mean that I would want a transform, inverse transform direction. I mean, direction or vector? What's the difference? I would assume that it's normalized if it's direction. And I do want it normalized. So inverse transform direction from world space to local space. Same goes here. So that should give me an object space normal. And yeah, I get the normals here. I have passed it on to the deferred shader thing. So okay, how would this look? Okay, there's a different color now that you can tell. And fantastic. Where's the grass? Where's the grass? You can't see the grass. The grass has the exact same color as the terrain. Not the color, the normals. So you just can't tell where it is. That's awesome. So that also means that gets shaded properly. And okay, let's try and get the correct color too. Terrains. No textures. No. It's grass. Oh, it's there. Okay, so this is the color I'm using for the grassy areas, which, as you can see, it's not green. It's blue. My grass is actually blue. Okay, that's interesting. Fucking hell. Okay then. A84. So yeah, what I'm trying here to do is, okay, if you know the grass has the same normal specularity, smoothness, and color as the terrain, it should just blend in perfectly. Now the thing is that right now it supposedly has the same exact color as the terrain, but not really. That's probably something to do with the shader. So let's see what's going on with the shader then. Not this one here. And I can try removing this if it helps at all. It does not. Does it have to do with this? No. Okay, so albedo obviously doesn't get affected by the emission, and it shouldn't. So that's good. But still, okay, let's just use the bottom tint. Still nothing. And I mean, you can't tell me that this color here is the same as this color here. So something is up. But what is up? There's an ambient strength control here, but I'm not using the ambient strength the shader as it was, so it's not that. Why does this change but not this? Shouldn't that affect the albedo as well? Oh. Okay, for some reason my terrain has a smoothness of 1. Even though the terrain shader doesn't use that. But again, it shouldn't matter. Okay. Oh, okay, I get why this is happening. So if I go back to base color, yeah, okay, I'll get the red again. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But it's still weird that I'm not getting the color I want. Weird, right? Oh, I need to also add undoing in the updating. Yes, here. And here. And this should be removed. Okay, so now technically okay, I broke it, I guess. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm stupid. Okay, undoing, redoing, updating, undoing, redoing, awesome, okay. Still, what's up with the albedo? You know what, I will also make their smoothness on, should I? It shouldn't change anything. Yeah, nope. Could it be some sort of linear weirdness? I mean, seriously. Oh wait, I forgot something. That should be face normal. That should be world unity objects to world normal, because I want the world space normals. I mean, doesn't change anything here. think that's good enough, I guess. Fine, I guess I can live with that. Yeah, just leave both like that. It's still not 100% the same, and it can drive me crazy. But whatever, I guess I'll leave for now. Okay, so just throwing a bunch of grass here and there. Whole thing is that because this is procedurally made, I can also like change the height and the width and give them more of a random height. Change the blade radius. So yeah, and I can also use the shader interactor script on my player. Hit save. Throw that here. And how does it look when playing? Well, it doesn't interact a lot. I think that should be good. Yeah. It's subtle enough, but it's nice. And yeah, as I mentioned, the cool thing about deferred rendering is that now, you know, if I actually get a light, just works. Like this react to your attacks. Well, possibly, depending on how intense the effect you'd want to be. So like in Breath of the Wild, for example, when you attack on grass, you know, grass disappears essentially, and yeah, some particles are spawned and stuff like that. But here I guess, you know, I could have like a small list of effectors essentially, that much like whatever the shader is doing for the player when the character is going through the grass, when it's moving away. I could have like more like that essentially, and just, you know, send them over to the shader, so I could have some reaction like that as well. But honestly, it sounds too much work. And yeah, if I also decide I want shadows, which I won't, but whatever. Lights work and they also cast shadows. So yeah, that's cool. But now I want to do something cooler. So Dane mentioned the Nilocat grass, which is this one here. It's a really great example and a really great resource when it comes to, well, efficient grass rendering essentially. Thanks for the follow, Prophet LTU. And there's a really cool implementation of per instance culling in there, and we can actually really easily integrate it into this shader, into this system essentially. So okay, in order to cull things away, you have to, well, essentially check if this thing you want to cull is in your camera's clip position. So, you know, if it's in its frustum. So, first step for this, which by the way, all this is gonna be in the grass compute script. So first step for this is to actually get the camera planes, the camera frustum. So camera frustum. Okay. Give me a check to sanity check. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So in late update. Where's late update? Transform bounds. Object transforms to the total bounds. Oh, I see. Okay. Where's late update? Am I in the wrong script? Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so in late update, I can get the current camera's frustum by maybe around here, saying geometry utility, calculate frustum planes, and you give a camera, so we have the current camera, there we go, and camera frustum planes. That's something we have to do in every frame, or at least like every frame before rendering, because, you know, cameras tend to move, so we have to get the frustum planes again. And we also have to get the projection matrices. So first, basically we want to move the world space position to a clip space position. So first we want the world to camera matrix. So that would be M current camera world to camera matrix. And then we want the projection matrix. Camera projection matrix, yeah. And you know, we have projection matrix, we have world to camera matrix, and just multiply them. So this is the names aren't just random. This is like the, if you've seen the Unity MVP or like VP matrix, stuff like that. This is what this is. This stands for projection, this stands for view, and this is the view projection matrix, I guess. Essentially, it's, you know, if you multiply a world space position with this, you get clip space position. It's essentially what you're doing when you, I mean, not just essentially, it's exactly what you're doing when you're using the clip object to, wait, it's not the object to clip pose, it would be the word to clip pose. You know what, just to support my case, because I'm not convincing myself. Here is the Unity CG .cg, right? There's a bunch of cool methods here, linear to gamma space. You know, maybe I should try something like that for the colors. Anyway, so object to clip pose. Where is it? This is view. This object to view. Wait a minute. Is it not defined here? Well, okay, whatever. Either way, we don't really care about this. We care about world space view there, object space slide there, world to clip pose. There we go. Position from world to homogeneous or whatever, NDC, whatever, clip position. This is exactly the matrix that I just created, the VP one, the view projection matrix. It takes the world position and it will return a clip position. Simple as that. So now that I have this matrix here, I can send it to the compute shader before I call it, before I dispatch it. So set matrix, can call it, you know, I'll just keep the correct name. Which is the VP matrix. VP. Awesome. And I also want. Do I want anything else? No, that's just what I want. Okay. And let's go over to the fun part. Need to declare it here as well, VP matrix. Since I'm getting the wall position here already, which can I no, I'll just use this one. All right, so I have the wall position. If I want the clip space position, I can just go ahead and say I want the absolute position, by the way, because these coordinates go from minus, let's say 1, but yeah, minus 1 to 1. So I just want to see if it's in those limits, so I want the absolute value essentially, because I mean I don't care if it's outside on the right side or outside on the left side. If it's outside, it's outside, so don't care. And I want the wall post okay, this would give me the absolute position in clip space. I mean the absolute value of the clip space position. And okay, we can just... This all, by the way, it's from the link I shared from Nilocat's implementation of per instance culling. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I'm doing it the other way around than what they're doing. So essentially, if I detect that the position I'm looking at is outside the camera's frustum, I just return and don't do any of this stuff, and I don't append all the new triangles. So that's cool, because I can stop rendering a bunch of triangles. Always good. OCSW. Now I can give a bit of leeway here. That's what I'm doing, and again, that's from Nilocat's code. There's a little bit of leeway here because I am comparing the position of the vertices that I'm using to generate the grass blades. So that means that I'm just using a single position, a single point. But since there's some grass growing from that point, the bounds are essentially a bit larger. That's so that you don't see individual grass blades being clipped on the edges. Yeah, but it's a really good implementation though. Like there's some really smart optimizations in there. So I'm gonna add the same leeway on the X as well. And also, you know what? If we're actually further away than the max fade distance, as well, just return. Let's see if we have any errors in here or warnings or whatever. No. And you can see stuff happening. Notice the game view. Because of the thing I did at the start, the compute shader works with a scene view camera right now. So if the grass blades are not visible on the scene view, they're not visible on the game view. Now there is some sort of updating issue. I'm not sure if that's on my side or whatever, but if I don't actually move and just rotate the camera, the culling doesn't take. But if I move a bit, like a little bit, now it works. But again, if I look down, the blades don't come back. But in game mode, the camera is always updating, so there's not an issue like that. And you can see that, you know, as I'm moving, the grass blades that I'm not seeing are disappearing. And you know, the interesting bit is that, you know, if you see the scene view, you don't actually see the grass blades popping in and out, because, you know, they shouldn't, because they're in the camera's frustum. And if I hit play, you can see that the scene view now adjusts to the camera in the game view, because now we're using the main camera. And yeah, seems buttery smooth. Yeah, so now I'm curious to fill this whole area with grass and see how performance holds, I guess. The cool thing also is that, you know, because of the way the camera is set up, there's usually like a small part of the wall that you're seeing. So yeah, in engine cutscene is the issue because the code currently checks position only, doesn't include camera rotation. Oh no, the code doesn't check explicitly for either position or rotation. It checks for the camera's frustum planes, and that gets updated every time the camera moves, rotates, or even changes the field of view. See that? The camera doesn't change, but the field of view does. The frustum plane does update from rotation. It updates from everything. Yeah, that was some sort of maybe a thing with late update, or I'm not sure, but something didn't trigger the updating frustum if the camera didn't move. But that's not really an issue in game mode, and especially for me, because, you know, the camera doesn't rotate, it only just moves. So it's the other way around. Oh, and turns out I do drop some frames when I'm in game mode, so the changes I did in Streamlabs did absolutely nothing. Good to know. So yeah, things look good. Hello, Ahos Dev. You missed quite a lot of stuff. Oh, wrong thing. But not so high. And I'm already at like 15,000 points. I mean, I guess I don't have to make it so dense, but I want to. Like it was always like I know, very underwhelming dream, but a dream of mine to have lots of grass with minimal performance impact. So I don't know if this is... Oh, there is a drop in frame rate. Have the brute force grass shader. Oh, I haven't. Well, I have seen it. I have seen what it can do. It really does look amazing. If I'm not mistaken, it actually uses cell texturing, right? So it's essentially just building layers on the terrain, and it's using some sort of height maps or something. Yeah, that's actually, I think, literally one of the oldest tricks in the book when it comes to like grass. Oh, whoa. Oh, okay. I got my frames back somehow. I guess it didn't like... Oh, it doesn't like when I have the grass painter selected. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, it still seems to be dropping some frames. Yeah, I think it had an issue with like the grass painter editor thing. Let's go. Yeah, what actually intrigued me about the brute force shader is that they mention that it also works with like I think they mentioned that it works with Mach, but I think it uses geometry shaders, or do they have a version with like compute shaders? I don't know, but I think it's using geometry shaders, which is cool if they can actually manage to make it not horrible in performance. I mean, you say minimal impact, so that's cool. I haven't tried it out. Yeah, it's when in the grass painter mode, there is a bit of a performance impact, which makes sense because it has like 20,000 objects to take care of. So yeah. This is what the mess it has generated looks like. Yeah, it's looking good. It's a fun thing to look at. But yeah, I'm not sure if I could think of anything else that I wanted to add. I'm also curious whether having the individual blades is better than doing it like with quads. I mean, I've had some good success with like quads for grass. It's also more versatile in terms of, you know, what textures you use and stuff like that. And I honestly don't really care about the bells and whistles of this, like the bent blades and curvature, all that stuff. But yeah, I think that's about it with the grass, to be honest. I just, you know, I wanted to play around a little bit with it in terms of UX and, you know, doing the culling and making it work in Deferred. And I would think that it could make a nice subject to do live on stream. Constant video for the. I haven't tested out tiny variation with position. I mean, it could easily be done. Like either way, I can have some random color variation from the brushes. I mean, it's intense, but I can do it. Yeah, there's a lot of ways I could go about that. I could do it. I mean, I could just add like a wall space noise texture and just use that for some variation. But yeah, I haven't tried to see how it would look actually, so you know what, let's humor this idea. Do I have a vault position? Oh, I do. Oh, that's fun. Is it correct? We'll find out. So you know what? Instead of this, because I'm not using the gradient, I'm just gonna use this. Noise collaboration noise. Wait. Also, I'm curious, how does the wind work? Wind. Oh, it's a bunch of sine waves. That's cool. That's cool. I position workspace in the X and Z. Multiply that by the color variations ST XY. That's it. That's it. Okay, let's drop some noise. Probably something like that's not this should be better. If I change this to something a bit darker, okay. Obviously, scale must change. But there you go. You know what? This doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I mean, with a better noise texture. I think that's the one I like. Well, this is, I mean, this is using the noise texture not as an overlay, but like as a guide for the color variation. So you know, so it is color variation. Yeah, no, there is color. Just well, I mean, you know, I don't want to go nuts with the difference in the colors, but I like this because it gives a bit of a hand-painted look, but it's still quite discreet. So that's cool. I'm glad you suggested it. Yeah, essentially, I didn't use a different, like a new color for this. I yoinked the instead of using, you can't see it maybe, but it has like the Grass compute script has a top tint and a bottom tint, so you can have a gradient going from bottom to top. So instead, because I wasn't using the gradient, I just used the two colors for the variation. And also, Ah, yes, probably. Though I'm not sure what other biomes will exist in this game. But yeah, it certainly be. I would certainly be open into expanding on this and using it in other scenarios as well. Okay, let me see. I have a suspicion. No vertices, grass vertex. Yeah, alright. There's a color here. That's cool. It's a diffuse color. That's cool. So I'm not using the vertex color right now as it stands, right? Which means that I can be a bit creative with something. So something that I like to do with my grass is super physically incorrect, but I do like it. So I can grab the wind. Wait, what is it doing exactly? Because I'm confused. So it's a bunch of sine waves. This is the first time you use vertical transparency. Well, no, I can't have. If I add transparency, it will be in forward, and I mean, it will still be visible on the screen, but it would render in forward, not deferred. But I don't want the. I wouldn't want transparency too. I mean, it's grass. Grass is not transparent. I mean, it's translucent, but I'm not doing that either. No, what I want. Wait, length, wind. I want something like that. And now, where's the color? Color. I can multiply the color with the wind magnitude. Okay, it's interesting. You can see how the wind looks. Obviously, that's not exactly what I want, because I do not want I don't want to multiply with this. All good. But I do want to add a tiny bit. Diffuse color. Like a tiny bit, as a treat. Oh no. Was that a float 3? Why? Whatever. Oh, Dane, you have absolutely no idea how hard it could be to use with wind zones. Or at least, I mean, I haven't found like any sort of documentation whatsoever about how to access the wind zone properties. Like, I have found nothing. It's like, for some reason, they just don't want you to use the wind zone system. Set the modification after the stream. Sure, I mean, yeah, I can share them. I don't know, because my process is chaotic and very, catered to this project and my liking, so that's why I'm usually hesitant about sharing code. Uh, but yeah, I can see about maybe cleaning it up a bit and just sharing something. It's not a good question at all, by the way, but yeah. Wind. So the wind is using the object space position. What? Also, if I hit play, will it stop being annoying? Okay. I want you to chill a bit with the wind color. Yeah, I usually use a noise color, a noise texture displacement, like a normal displacement. Yeah, it doesn't really. But yeah, something I like to generally do. It's kind of maybe looking good. I don't know. But something I generally like to do is that I add a little bit of color where you have, whoa, where when you have them more wind essentially. So that way it looks like the grass is changing color as it's being swayed, which kinda looks as if it has some sort of specularity. So it's a really smoke and mirrors kind of trick, but it's something I like to do. But yeah, in general for the wind I don't use sine waves, I use like a noise displacement texture. Yeah, I get what you mean. Also, it's interesting that actually the grass doesn't have any crazy performance impact. Like I'm averaging at 130 and yeah, still at 130. And actually, now that I think about it, 130 is a suspicious frame rate. It's a very suspicious frame rate. Uh, very suspicious indeed. Oh, I actually... It's gonna be better or worse? I thought it was around 120 because of VSync. Actually, I get more frames with VSync. Okay, so yeah, it seems to be costing a fair amount of frames, but then again, it's a fair amount of grass. And what if I move completely away from it? Yeah, gaining back all my frames. And you know, that's the point of the culling too, because that's kinda like the worst case scenario. Because of the culling, these are all the grass that I could have in my screen. Like, this is almost like the whole screen covered in grass. So you can't get more than that because of the frustum culling. Well, you hope 130 FPS will be enough for gamers. Well, the good thing is that I don't want gamers to play my game. So, screw them. Gamers are not oppressed, but they should be. And thanks for the follow, SkyDriver79. So yeah, you know what? I will actually undo some of the more me specific changes that I did. So I'm gonna add this back. So I won't include the wind thing here. Just leave this as is. Boom. So fun to see the culling taking place. The frustum culling, not the you know, other type of culling. That was the name of the movie, right? Yeah, the culling. Yeah, no, not that culling, the frustum culling. And I mean, if you want to go really super hardcore, you might even consider looking into occlusion culling, which I'm not sure how it would work here. I mean, you would have you would need to have a separate pass, probably another compute shader that goes through all the points and compares their position with the depth of the camera. And No, I don't want to. Occlusion culling zones. Not sure what you mean, Dane, but I was talking about the grass, because I mean, even if there is something Unity provides for occlusion culling, but I was thinking about occlusion culling for the grass, which could mean that, for example, you know, if you're like here, for example, you can see that most of the grass is not visible in the scene view, but it's still visible here because the culling doesn't care that there's some stuff in front of me. So that could be fixed by yeah, it's still within the frustum. So you know, if I'm kinda itching to try out stuff, but even if I try it out, I'm not gonna do it in this stream because I think it would just go horribly bad. But the premise is that okay, I have the wall space position of like the grass blade spawner, right? So somewhere there. And I can translate that into clip space, which I'm already doing. Use that to sample the camera depth texture, and get the linear eye depth, and compare that value with the distance from the camera. And depending on what that, if it's larger or smaller, yeah, cull it essentially. I'm itching so hard. I'm gonna do a really quick test. I don't think it's gonna work. Wait, I want to see, okay, this here. Yeah. Sorry, just checking out something. Okay. Oh yeah, the V-face. Yeah, I actually learned about that pretty recently myself. It could have saved me for a couple double pass shaders for front and back faces if I knew that sooner, but I did not. Okay, let's try something weird. considered a lucrative specialization to have. Require artistic talent. I sure hope it doesn't require artistic talent, because I don't have any. But I can say that it is quite, well, no, I can't say it's lucrative per se, but I know that it's needed and it's asked for because it combines like visuals with tech. It's something, you know, not a lot of people do. So, you know, it's always helpful to know how to work with shaders. And then, you know, there's a layer above that, which is, you know, technical art in general, which is a big subject, but it's also like technical artists are also quite asked for. Yeah, exactly. Tech artists just make things pretty, but with code. Unity Bros code. Screen pause. Sorry, looking into some. Oh, it's what I thought, I think. Okay, I'm gonna try something weird. So that would be these. Okay, I have a weird idea as to how to debug this. So, colors to the rescue. Green false and 0. This is gonna be weird. Oh my god, it's working. Okay, I need the remap method. So, yeah, it might look good, but it's wrong. I mean, it's not exactly what I want, at least. If I just say this, okay. And it goes on and on and on. Okay. And if I take this now and remap it, into this. Is this correct? You know what? I'll add way more grass. Just so I can see what's going on. Increase the density. I mean, we already have so much already. More density. Thank you. Whoa, no. Okay. All right. So this is desaturate. Feel that. No, I think it's good. Okay, I think I have my screen space. Yeah, it looks like this is screen space coordinates. Okay. No, this is so weird. Alright, so since I have that, I can go ahead and get the depth. Maybe. Where is it? It's here. So the depth would be this. Right? Okay. Depth. Wait, that's too many depths. Okay. Oh, yep. Okay, what does that do? Oh, thanks for the follow, Skip Play. What does that do? Oh, that barely does anything. Okay, let's do that then. What? Wait, what? Okay, so apparently, is there a reason to not use included computer screens post function? Uh, that's a good question. Uh, Actually, let me see what that does. Screen post. Yeah, I have no idea why I didn't actually use that. So, uh, no idea. Seriously, I just thought I could do it manually, I guess. But yeah, I was today years old when I found out that the Unity Proj chord thing that I just add when getting the depth does this, meaning nothing. Because apparently that was before. Yeah. Wait, it gets better. There was the whole thing was actually like this. By the way, the shader API PSP2 is for the PlayStation Vita. So this is like a Unity macro thing that was a workaround for some kind of bug that was for the Vita. Okay, and I'm upset. Oh, compute screen pause. Unity doesn't know that. It's okay, I can let it know that. Oh, it needs a projection params. Okay. Okay. Can I just like include? Like, can I just do this? I mean, it really doesn't matter that it's HLSL. Definition of time. Wait. Oh, okay. Okay. Screen pause. I'm not sure if this is better or not. Doesn't look right. You know what? I'll go back to the previous plan. I think it's better to compute it like that. Maybe. Anyway, and I was right there. Oh. non-stereo. Okay, what is, oh, damn it. Okay, X is 1. Okay, that's...
Every core computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Okay. CS multiplied by 0.5 apparently, and string pos xy plus equals string pos w, and string pos zw equals, oh sorry, not, oh yeah, that's correct, pos cs zw. That's what the implementation does on the Unity CG, so it's weird, but that's what happens, I guess. Undeclared identifier. God damn it. Okay. Linear eye depth is this thing. I'm essentially just recreating all the implementations in the Unity CG. So I'm gonna input them manually because I'm bored. So Z is you know what, I'm just leaving it like that just to see if I get some sense of depth at least. What now? What? Map expression to CS5 in section set, because there is no text to D. Oh. So that should be these. And oh god. Nope, you know what? Nope. I humored this idea long enough. Leaving it as is. No occlusion culling. Oh yeah, I will hydrate, thanks, but I'm almost out of water, so bad timing. Ah yeah, the transform text. Yeah. Um, yeah, all it does is literally just multiplying by with XY and offsetting with a ZW. Whatever. Uh, depth functions. Yeah, but it took me quite a while to figure out what's the difference with like the eye depth and the linear 0 1 depth, and once you understand what they do, things get easier. View position, view normal. Well, it's a view space normal, so like my camera is looking forward right now, right? So in view space, the normal of this surface could be backwards, right? And this would be rightwards, and so on and so forth. And if I go like this, then it's the other way around. So that's like the view normal. But it's not consistent with a world space normal, which doesn't change, as you see. Yeah. I'm slowly starting to wrap my head around how different spaces and coordinate systems work. And yeah, you can do so much more stuff when you understand how some of the weird matrix stuff work. Like for example, if you're doing like some sort of procedural mesh generation, I have found that it's actually much easier to constantly work in like object space, because you don't have to take, like here for example, you don't have to take into consideration scales and rotations and stuff that could mess your positions around. You can just do it in object space, and then whatever you end up in like the object space, you just put that over to the world space and it just works. So let's say for example that you want to make a procedural cube, like an elongated cube, like a rectangle, a 3D rectangle, whatever. You can just set the width and the height, and you just put the 8 vertices on the corners, and you just put that all in object space, and then you translate that in world space, and then you can have scale and rotation and everything else. Oh yeah, I see the confusion, Dane. Yeah, I know what you mean, but it's not like the screen, it's like the objects in the screen. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I lost half an hour with this crazy occlusion culling idea, but maybe someday. For now, I mean, I'm pretty happy with this because I have a buttload of grass, and again, like, it's not gonna get much worse. Like, I only have so much screen. So, you know, if I can fill my whole screen with grass and still not get horrible frame rate, I'm good. So I think I'm gonna leave this here. I will have the regular stream on Tuesday working on the cool slash attacks. So this is where we're at right now. So after that, I just want to make some cool impact effects and like some screen shake and time stagger, stuff like that, and just make fun combat stuff. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, impact frames, exactly. Just, you know, shamelessly stealing stuff from Death's Door. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I'm gonna have a really late dinner, not lunch. It's not so late. And yeah, I'll see you in the next stream, I guess.